Browns and Associates of Pierre.
This is KGFX. Good Wednesday morning at 7:31, and we're broadcasting live from the CHS studio. Come see the cooperative difference at CHS with locations throughout central South Dakota and southern North Dakota. Guess what we're going to talk about? It's a Wednesday, so we normally talk Fort Pierce, South Dakota, and you know what? We are going to talk about Fort Pierce, South Dakota. Something very exciting and very delicious headed our way. In the studio, no stranger to the microphone, Mr. Steve Jonas. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great. You've got someone with you there. Rendry Museum, Deb Schiffelbein. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, good morning. We're glad to be here, Scott.
Are you guys morning people? I know Steve is. I don't think he ever sleeps. But how about you, Deb?
Oh, up early in the morning and, like you say, late at night. So.
Yeah. The earlier you get up, you should be able to go to bed that much earlier, too, and get it over with, right?
Right.
Well, we've got some exciting stuff to talk about, and I guess, Deb, what would really set the stage for everybody is, first and foremost, talk to me about the museum, what you do there, and what is the museum? What are we talking about?
Well, the Verndrive Museum is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. We're 50 years old. Of course, the building's older than that, built in the 1930s. And it's time kind of for an upgrade and some renovations, and the city of Fort Pierce started to take that on. So we kind of decided we'd do this barbecue competition again. Of course, Steve and Scott are kind of responsible for that because they started it last year, and it turned out to be a great event. And we would just like to build on that and have it maybe become a signature fundraiser for the museum.
Yeah, like you said, Steve was there from the get-go with this thing and had no idea how it was going to turn out or how many people, but wow, it turned out kind of fun last year, didn't it?
It did. It was a nice crowd of people that came by, and that was over the 3rd of July that we did that, and this year we changed it to August 18th, which is during the 4-H Finals Rodeo over in Fort Pierre there.
So plenty of crowds and things like that, and it's not just the backyard barbecue competition. There's lots of stuff now that have kind of just really snowballed on this weekend. What else is going on?
Well, we got together as a group, and Fort Pierre Tourism Council, of course, 4-H Rodeo Finals, we all joined together, and Fort Pierre Tourism Council has decided to do Fort Pierre Trader Days.
All right.
And so Lily Park will be full, Lily Fisher Park will be full of vendors, and they'll have helicopter rides and a lot of events going on Saturday, and the barbecuers will be going bright and early that morning, and it'll just smell great, and I think it'll be a great weekend.
Oh, no doubt about it. Now, you do something like this, Steve, you got to get some backing, and you got to get some big, powerful backing. And if you listen to the intro music coming into our interview today, the hoedown music, the theme of South Dakota beef, and they're on board, too. Tell everybody what the lineup is and how South Dakota Beef is involved.
South Dakota Beef is one of our major sponsors. They're providing us with the brisket and the ground beef for the competition. It's going to be an all-beef competition.
So no squeal going on?
No squealing. At least not from the meat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, the competition is on the 18th, but when you start talking about smoking a brisket, that takes... a lot of folks will put a lot of hours into a brisket. So do they start the day before? How does that work?
Yeah, we're letting people stop by and pick up the meat on the 17th. Let them take it home or wherever and, prep it up the way they want to prep it up.
Everybody's got their own way of doing stuff, don't they?
Inject it, rub it, give it a nice massage. But, that's what we're doing is letting people pick up the meat ahead of time, do their thing, and then just got to make sure that everything is cooked up over at the park and be ready to serve about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you definitely want to spend some time with your brisket, get to know your brisket, start a relationship, and things turn out better that way. Now, I know we've got folks listening that are like, well, I make brisket and I make burgers and stuff, and I've got my own grill and everything, and that's what it's all about. It's like getting folks together with their backyard barbecues. We'll let the big boys in, too, but we'd really like to push for those backyard enthusiasts out there. So what do they need to do? What kind of grills can they bring? How much does it cost to get into this thing, and what could they win?
the cost is for the entry fee is $150 for the brisket and $150 for the ground beef.
So this is a serious competition.
It is. And we do have additional $400 being thrown into the pot. So we're going to have some fun that way,
Sure.
sweeten it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping to get some more teams in. We kind of had a deadline of July 16th, but
Okay.
I think we'll give it, an extra week if we get
Sure.
some interest. But yeah, it's you can cook it any way you want it, as long as you cook it at the park.
So they could bring a charcoal grill, they could bring a gas grill,
Pellet grill,
green egg,
yep, it doesn't matter how you cook it.
they could rub sticks together.
You could,
Okay.
as long as you cook it at the park.
Okay. There you go, folks. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And there's going to be enough stuff going on for the whole family throughout that whole day and weekend, too, isn't there, with the Trader Days?
Sure, there's just going to be, they have, the Fisher Lily Park is loaded with vendors, and then, of course, we'll be there, and we'll be providing food that evening along with the meat, and we'll have a 50th anniversary dessert for celebrating our birthday. Live music will be there all day long. You'll be there at the
Heck
Go to
yeah.
Radio group, and there'll be lots of 4-H families around, so
Yep.
we're looking for a fun day in the park and an evening that should be a great summer evening.
Lots of cowboys, cowgirls, families having fun. Boy, it sounds like Fort Pierre, South Dakota, doesn't it? Trader Days coming up.
Right.
This is going to be fun. Backyard barbecue competition. And those of you that are interested, whether you know somebody that's a really good barbecuer or griller that really knows their stuff and you want to get them in on this thing, or maybe you're interested yourself too, the best thing you can do is give Steve a call for any information, any tips or things like that. How do they get a hold of you? What's the best way and best time?
Best way to get a hold of me is just give me a call on my cell phone, 280-2737. And if you don't reach me, leave me a message. I'll call you back. Text me. It's all good.
Deb, contact information for the museum.
You can stop by and pick up registrations at the museum, the train depot, the Log Cabin Visitor Center, but you can also give either myself a call at 280-9550, or you can contact Connie Carlisle at 223-2042. And we do have major sponsors and general sponsorships for this event, too, so everything's available, and those are all starting to come in, and like Steve said, we had a pre-registration deadline here of July 16th, but we'll take them, for a while longer, so don't let that hold you back.
If you're in a business or group or organization, you want to get some information out this summer, definitely this is the time to do it. This is the place and venue you want to do. Get into a sponsorship for this thing, for Trader Days, the backyard barbecue competition. There's going to be a lot of people out there, lots of eyes and ears and everything else. And if somebody wants to make a good-sized donation to make sure that this museum gets redone properly, again, what is your contact information, or can they just drop a check off at the depot or at the museum?
Sure, they could drop a check off at, like I said, the Log Cabin Visitor Center, it's open, the Verendrye Museum, the train depot, or contact any of us. It's easy to do. And of course, this information's all available at the City of Fort Pierre, too.
Excellent. Deb Scheffelbein, Steve Jonas, thanks for coming in. Speaking on behalf of Fort Pierre, we'll see you this summer.
Great,
Thanks a lot.
see you at the barbecue.
People in the Neighborhood proudly brought to you by Lee Real Estate and Country Carpet and Flooring. This is KGFX. Eat some beef.
This is Meredith Lee, broker-owner of Lee Real Estate. Did you know that we now have 7 realtors to help you buy or sell your home?